If you clicked on this video, you're probably familiar with the 1964 film Zulu, a film that takes place before and during the Battle of Rorke's Drift. Considering the content of the movie was focused on the British victory and not their absolute slaughter only hours before, it does make sense that they did not spend very much time on the Battle of Isandlwana. However, this does not mean that the outcome of the Zulu victory was not shown on screen, where a destroyed British military is tattered and set alight. Something I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, ask themselves is why was Rorke's Drift such an amazing execution of British strategy, but Isandlwana was a tragedy for both sides? Surprisingly, it's not the answer you probably think. The first reason I'm about to discuss is probably the most cited reason: defenses. The British were actually caught off guard by the Zulu advance in Isandlwana, and therefore had no time to prepare. There wasn't anything to hold off the massive Zulu army except 45 caliber bullets, and as you can tell, that wasn't a very effective defense. On the other hand, not only were the soldiers stationed at Rorke's Drift given time to prepare, but they managed to set up a large wall of melee bags to hold off any Zulu forces. The fact that there was a physical object separating the attacking side from the defending side gave the British a major advantage compared to what they had at Isandlwana. This was actually much more effective than those words can put without an example. Out of the 17 defenders killed in battle, about 5 of them were killed with firearm wounds, so about 12 deaths were caused by the waves of assegai being thrusted at them. This means that, on average, one person was killed every single hour of the Battle of Rorke's Drift. This is possibly the largest contributing factor to the vast differences in outcomes between the two battles, but it's certainly not the only one. Another reason that had a major impact on the battles that at first would seem insignificant would be black powder. Black powder, when ignited, smokes. A lot. For a single man firing at a relatively slow rate, this isn't much of a problem, but when you have over 1,000 men firing within a few seconds, the smoke starts to add up. Without a single doubt in mind, it could be stated that the British forces' vision was impaired by the smoke clouds from their rifles. And considering the fact that the British were armed with ranged infantry weapons while the Zulu were equipped with assegai, it's easy to see how this directly played into the hands of the Zulu forces. This problem, however, was not even close to much of a concern when it came to Rorke's Drift, for the simple fact that there was only 1/10 of the forces present when compared to Isandlwana. Sadly, when compared to the previous issue of defenses, it is rather unfortunate to see this problem didn't have a solution at the time, as non-smokeless powder firearms did not develop until 5 years after the battle took place. A fact that also played into the role of defeat at the British at Isandlwana was how their units were laid out. About 1,800 men defended 1,800 yards of land, so the death of any British soldier led to a gap in the defenses, allowing Zulu soldiers to surround them and slaughter their forces. This fact was amplified even further where the Natal native contingent retreated before the other forces and left a 300-yard gap in their defenses. However, this problem did not affect the forces at Rorke's Drift because of their perimeter made of melee bags. The wall was set up just small enough to accommodate all of the remaining forces, yet just big enough that the death of a single man did not open their defenses. It's easy to say without a doubt that the concentration of units played a major role in both of these battles. There were also some lesser effects that did sway both the battles by a reasonable extent. Some reasons stated may seem petty, but each presents its own set of problems for the British army at Isandlwana. Just to list a few, during roll calls, the British would lay out all their soldiers and equipment to ensure that everything was in its right place and working order. This also allowed Zulu scouts to observe and count the strength of the military and plan accordingly. The forces stationed at Rorke's Drift did not encounter this problem, as it was a secondary location to attack, and therefore was not scouted heavily. The early casing of the British service rifle, the Martini Henry, was incredibly thin and irregular, making the extraction of the cartridge sometimes incredibly difficult, with it occasionally requiring a ramrod to get the cartridge out. This combined with the thinly spread troops only worsened the situation at Isandlwana. Most of the British forces at Isandlwana were only equipped with 50 rounds of ammunition, while a standard carry was supposed to be 70 rounds. A solar eclipse also happened at the Battle of Isandlwana, severely limiting the vision of British troops and allowing Zulu troops to advance further in on them. My name is Mosen, and this is History Done Quick.